There we go. All right, and I will advance the slides here for them and let them introduce themselves.
And we're not seeing the deck quite yet, Kevin, so I might want to.
Thank you.
Yep.
Should be coming up here in just a moment.
I see it now.
We're good. Yep.
All right, perfect. Okay. Really quickly, before we get into the introductions, just quick agenda. So we'll do a couple introductions here in just a moment for our two expert guest speakers. And then from that, we're going to cover a few of the topics that we received on the community that people wanted to know about regarding our new travel experience. So then we'll do that. And then after that, we're going to go through some continuous influence feedback. If you're not sure what continuous influence is, it's a program that we have where our customers can provide what we call enhancement requests to how they think that can make our products better. So they're able to submit those. And we do take your feedback seriously. So we're going to cover some of those topics that have been implemented, I believe, that were submitted from customers and implemented. And then after that, if you have any questions you want to ask about our new travel experience, you can certainly ask them live, or if you want to, at any point, you have a question that pops into your mind, go ahead and type it into the chat window, and then we'll cover all questions once both Michael and Heidi are done. So I'm going to go ahead and let them introduce themselves and take it away, either Heidi or Michael.
Oh my gosh. Do you want me to go first since my picture is...
I put your
Sure.
picture first on purpose, Heidi, for sure.
Okay. Hi, guys. I'm Heidi Ely. I am with the product management team for travel. I have been with Concur working on Concur Travel for close to 15 years. And prior to that, I worked for a travel agency implementing online booking tools. So I've been with the community for a long time, more time than I even want to comment on. But anyway, super excited to be a part of the team rolling out the new experience and working on the strategy for what's coming next as well. Michael?
All right. Thank you, Heidi. Hi, everyone. Michael Vitalo. I will be at Concur for 10 years in January. And at least half of what I know is from Heidi and from at least one other person who have shared all of their background and context with me. I was the second product manager working on the new Concur Travel experience back when it was sort of a wild and crazy idea. And then in the last few months, I've actually taken a new role where I'm looking at the traveler experience across Concur Travel and Expense. So more to come on that another day, but I have spent the last many years working on the new Concur Travel experience and am excited to see all of the usage and then feedback, right? That's what we do. We want to make sure that it's actually solving the problems that you needed to solve. And that comes from conversations like this. So that's us in a nutshell. Heidi and I do this kind of talk all the time. So if you don't interrupt us, we will absolutely fill up time. Or if you don't ask us questions at the end, we can fill it, but we're very anxious for your questions. So if we want to go to the next slide, what we're going to start with is Kevin had asked in the community portal sort of what you would want to talk about in a session like this, and three topics emerged. So I'll talk about these for a few minutes. Let us and share sort of our top of mind and guiding principles for some of this stuff. And then, as Kevin said, pop some questions in the chat, or we can have a conversation towards the end. And then Heidi will take us into the influence topics. So first and foremost, multi-city trips. We've talked a lot about multi-city trips, even though they are a small minority in at least online booking tool bookings. We'd like them to grow. But I think one of the reasons we talked about it a lot the last year or two, was that it was not part of the original scope of new Concur Travel. When we launched with one-ways and round trips, and if the user needed a multi-city trip, we would push them back to the legacy experience. I will share, we saw customers have a little bit of a harder time with that fallback to the legacy experience than we anticipated, right? We thought it would make more sense to end users and to customers, but the reaction we got was, yeah, it's great that you've enabled that, but I'd really rather wait until you have multi-city, and then I'll move people, move my program. So that's great feedback. That caused us to prioritize it sooner than we were going to, and we've got it out there in production now. Lots of transactions happening, and lots of good feedback, as well as the ability to fall back to the legacy experience if you really, really need to do something that the new Concur Travel does not. So we're excited to have put multi-city behind us. I think as we move on into the future, you're going to see us build on that multi-city functionality, not just more use cases for multi-city, but actually getting into trip planning, right? And helping people make, door-to-door trip planning decisions and sort of the reality of messy business trips. So more to come, but we're happy to say that multi-city has been deployed, and anxious and ready for your feedback and thoughts and suggestions on that front. Next, I'll switch over to Hotel Connector, and then the question I think in the forum was like, "Oh my gosh, what happened to Airbnb?" Happy to share that with you. We did have two integrations with Airbnb. We had a TripLink integration, and an online booking tool, Concur Travel Punch-Out integration with Airbnb, where the availability would show up in Concur Travel UI, but if you wanted to book it, you would go out to the supplier site. What happened? The usage was not there. To be quite frank with you. And I think there were a few reasons for that. I think that the punch-out nature caused a little bit more friction than we would have hoped, and that I think makes sense. And then two, some travel program owners, I think this is an area where there's at least two schools of thought. Some are wildly supportive and very interested and say that their employee traveling base really wants this content. And the other school of thought says, oh my gosh, never, no way, no how. And we sort of see those two different thoughts happen. So we got it out there, and usage did not materialize, right? So as always, we're constantly looking at how are we solving problems for the most customers? How are we delivering the best online booking tool that sort of has amazing web and mobile experiences that will keep people in channel, and not have them go book somewhere else and then show up in expense getting, asking to get reimbursed. So as we constantly look at our features, that one just didn't make the cut to perpetuate forward. That said, we do have a new concept that I want to make sure that everybody understands, and it might be worth talking about in more detail later. You've heard us talk about Hotel Connector as our new path forward for lodging and accommodation content. And by and large, what that means is Concur Travel, instead of having a GDS connection and then a list of direct connects where you could maybe add, HRS or some other hotel content source that's very region specific, like Hotel DE, those sorts of things. We have said, gosh, what would really help our customers and our TMC partners is giving them total control over all of that content. And that's exactly what we've launched with new Concur Travel. So we've got two integrations certified, if not more by now. One is fully launched, one is still in pilot, and we've got 5 or 6 more on the external roadmap that you'll see Hotel Connector for TMC or content sources like HRS. And what we're really hoping is that as your travel program has lodging and accommodation needs, like, for example, On Request Hotel, we had one customer that said, I really, really have a lot of travel to places where most of the properties are offline and someone needs to make a phone call to get a reservation written down in a physical book or something like that. How can Concur Travel help with that? And we said, that's great. We are happy to support the notion of a reservation that needs to be confirmed And we enabled our Hotel Connector partners to do that, and we've got one of them doing that on into the future. So if this sort of non-traditional, house sharing lodging is really important to you, I think that's where you then want to look at the current Hotel Connectors and then have conversations with them about, hey, I'd like this to get this other content into Concur Travel, and that's really up to you and them to decide, and we'll make sure that we are doing everything that we're really good at. Policy, all that other great stuff. So more to come. I would say our plan for Airbnb or any other content like that is through Hotel Connector as you have conversations with those partners. Last thing, paid seats for air. Yes, we plan to do this. That might be the shortest answer I can give out of all three. We for sure plan to do this. We know that this is important for traveler experience. What we want to get right, though, is payment and policy, right? We don't just want to throw this out there and then have it become a bigger problem than it was meaning to solve. So more to come in the near future there. Heidi, would you add anything on these, or do you want to move to your stuff?
No, I think that you covered them well. I mean, there's little bits and pieces I certainly could add if anybody wants to go into the weeds, but
okay, let's go to your stuff then.
it. So thank you, Kevin. Okay, so yeah, as Kevin mentioned, we have the customer influence program, which is where you as a customer can submit a request for something new in the experience. So I just wanted to show you a handful of these things that we've delivered over the past 6 months, right? So I broke them out by vertical. So under air and rail, right? The items that are in pink, hopefully no one's colorblind, but you could see the items in pink are new or were in the old experience. And so those are like parody type features that we brought into the new. The items in black are net new. We've got somebody wanting to come into the call. I don't know.
Yep.
Okay, so I saw that. Okay, just thought, okay. The items in black are net new features for the new experience. That's what the color coding means. But anyway, so there were a couple of things I wanted to call out, like the flight matrix. That was something that we heard from our customers loud and clear, especially at Fusion last year, that they really missed that from the old experience. So we were happy to bring that back. We hadn't planned to do that. We didn't think it was necessary based on some of the user experience sessions that we had, but we missed it. So we brought it back. So we are actively listening to these solution suggestions or requests. Also, the ability to hold trip, that was something we had planned to do a lot later. And again, at Fusion, we heard a lot of customers say, nope, we need this sooner rather than later. And so we pulled that into the roadmap sooner than we had planned. But you can see we've delivered requests under user experience in mobile. We didn't have that support in mobile before, so that's a new thing for the new experience. We built out a supportability tool for our travel agency partners. So when you submit an issue or something that needs to be researched or a request to have history about a trip, the travel agency or the agents have the ability to use this new supportability tool to look up all of the history about a transaction. So it's super helpful for them to find data quickly about a trip. I think that's, just a highlight of some of those things. The next slide is all of the top rated requests that are still out there and some of the items that are planned. So again, we're looking at these on a regular basis. I actually bring up this top 15 list with the product managers every week and kind of call out, hey, something rose into the top 15 list. I am happy to say that, for example, showing 2 calendar months under user experience is actually coming with the December release. So that's something that was, I think, the highest rated non-mobile feature. We also have another feature that came with the November release around payment. We had changed our behavior to say if there are 2 required forms of payment, we would stop the user and say, hey, there's a configuration issue, because how could there be multiple required forms of payment? That's confusing to the user, right? So it would kind of hard stop the user. But we've gotten the feedback that's not good. We want to go back to previous legacy behavior and just list both of the required payment options in the drop list and let the user pick, because we still want them to be able to proceed with the booking. So that's another example of something where we listened and we brought back something that was in the legacy experience. So other things that are in here, search by flight number. I know that's planned for the first half of next year. Car matrix is another one from the legacy experience that we're looking at bringing back. So there are other things in here, and this probably will change again in the next month or two, because votes will raise something else up as to a higher priority, and some of this will get delivered. But just wanted to give you a snapshot of what is out there, what we're looking at. I will also say this is not the only thing that we look at in driving what goes on to the roadmap. We're also looking at PSAT scores. There's an end user survey that is shown to users at the end of the booking process. So we look at that as well. We're obviously having these types of conversations with customers. Lots of different ways that we look at customer feedback and use that to drive what makes it onto the roadmap and the priority list. I know we wanted to leave some time at the end for questions, so we've got a little bit of time left.
Let's do it.
Not to put you guys on the spot or anything, but you have us.
And as I said, we can entertain. We can fill time.
Heidi, Severine brought up a good point. Since Joseph is in Spain, is there anything to the EMEA region that might be specific in the new Concur Travel experience that might either be launching soon or on the roadmap?
Well, we are use a lot the train or Renfe, but sometimes in this last month we have a problem when we want to take a round trip, and we have open a case in a super web, and this make that the people the traveler don't use the model, the travel model, and they use the request model. We have the train for us is very important because we are use it a lot.
And you're saying
It sounds like there's a customer case. So what I would love, Joseph, is shoot that over in the chat. Heidi and I will commit to at least getting that in front of the right product manager who needs to be aware that that's actually driving bookings out of Concur Travel. We'll share that feedback, and we'll try to get that resolved for you.
Okay.
Thank you.
I know that we are working on Amtrak migrations, which is US Rail, in Q1, and then we will be changing focus to SNCF and bringing the French Rail experience into the new experience, and then I think the next one on that one is Trenitalia. I may be wrong on that one. There may be one in between there, but we're looking at new rail content every quarter. So for Europe in particular, there's more content coming throughout all of 2025. So that's something definitely to look forward to.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. And also, we normally, for example, we have a factories in a small village, you know, and sometimes the problem is that when get one a hotel, they don't find in the catalog, and I suppose that it's no don't have a solution because to include in the catalog, you need that the hotel no have a core no with the Concur, no.
Ah, great question. We don't have relationships with individual hotels or hotel chains in terms of what content shows up in the booking tool. Traditionally, out of the box, Concur Travel will shop for hotel content in the configured GDS pseudo city that you and your agency have decided on, right? So taking some guesses here, probably Amadeus for your employees in Spain, but maybe not, maybe something else. So you'd want to ask your TMC, hey, I have travelers going here. They're not seeing a lot of content. Are we configured correctly, right? Maybe you're shopping with discount codes, or maybe the TMC has some content strategy you're not aware of. Beyond that, that thing I mentioned in my talk, the hotel connector, I think is really where you want to be looking. A lot of these hotels, especially in small places, it costs money to publish their rates and availability into the big global distribution systems. And a lot of those hotels just decide they don't need to pay that money to be available in those systems. So it could be that those hotels are trading or transacting somewhere else outside of the GDS. And that's exactly what the hotel connector is meant to address, so that you and your agency can make sure your travelers can go where they need to go, and stay where you want them to stay. So that's definitely a conversation I would open up with your travel agency. For sure, customers not seeing content when they search for a hotel is going to drive them right out of your whole T&E program. And that's just not what any of us want. So I would encourage you to ask some questions about hotel content and the hotel connector.
Okay.
Yeah.
And another question that is normally we use Amadeus and Travel Fusion, for example, but
Mhm.
I know that you can also use a booking. Do you think that is a good solution to connect with booking through
Um,
the
most
Concur
of the
or?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, the most of the hotel connectors that are certified or about to be certified include that booking content. So yes, I think that's exactly the conversation to have about a hotel connector, be it from your agency or someone like HRS. You could explore some of those options, but yes, that booking is sort of covering some of those content gaps for properties not in the GDS. Exactly right.
If I want to connect with booking, I have to talk with my team TMC, or we can connect directly my Concur with booking.
Today, and Heidi, correct me if I'm wrong, today in the legacy experience, there's a dedicated booking.com connector that
Yes.
will not be carried forward. Our strategy is to enable the hotel connector partners to do that. So when you talk to your agency, they will connect content from a GDS, booking, maybe some other, region specific ones, right? If you have travel to South America or to Asia, there's other players who have other content for other regions. We're putting all of that power in those hotel connector hands. So you could choose your TMC's hotel connector or one of the other ones from the non-TMC players.
The beauty of
Okay,
that is they
thanks.
can aggregate it. So you're not
Mhm.
stuck with just the single source of that. They can pull the GDS, they can pull booking, they can pull HRS, they can put all of that package together into one single pipe into us. So that your travelers can see that all of that content.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions from, I know Rhonda came in a little bit later, so glad you could make it. I don't know if you have any questions for Rebecca, for Michael and Heidi.
I wanted to ask Heidi, I saw on your list of coming enhancements for the company notes on mobile, it just had CEI program. It didn't mention any like specific time frame or if that was actually in the works. Could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yes, so there has been a customer engagement program that ran. I think it's finished now, but it just finished, right? Um, the home page, there's been a redesign in progress for the home page, and part of that is around company notes. And so what they're looking at doing for company notes is because company notes has been a sort of a challenge for the web version, right? You know, when you come in, it's a small piece and people want it to be bigger and that sort of thing, right? So what they were looking at is maybe making it a carousel of cards, for example, right? And you could put time limits around it, but you could have a card for travel policy, you could have a card for disruption, all different kinds of things like that. And by doing that, you control the size, you can control how long a message would display. Some things should display forever, some things could just display for a short amount of time. Some things could be a little bit more prominent than others, but by doing that also we could control, like, okay, there's only going to be a carousel of 3 images and we control that. So if that's what they're going to end up going with, and I think that is based on that engagement program, that makes it more conducive for mobile messaging. The custom text that we have today supports HTML, it supports all of this custom imaging and stuff that's not conducive to mobile. And I don't know if you've seen, some people have wild and crazy colors and big sizes and all those things that we can't easily translate to mobile. So we had to kind of figure out what we were going to do for the new homepage for that before we could figure out what we were going to do for mobile. So I think at the beginning of the year or in Q1, I think we'll be able to make an announcement as to what we'll be doing there. So more to come, but we know like that is the highest rated request, is to make some sort of messaging available in mobile. And so I think that's going to open us up to being able to deliver that.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Could I be sneaky and ask what problem are you trying to solve? For sure, we understand you want to communicate with travelers. That's clear.
Yeah.
What needle are you trying to move?
I mean, again, it's sort of as Heidi said, it's getting our messages across. Well, I have some users who never go on the desktop or very, very rarely go on the desktop. So we're trying to get, for example, right now, an end of year message saying, hey, be sure to get everything submitted. We're closing out the year soon. Our mobile users will never see that. So having that ability to utilize both platforms would be great.
That's helpful. Thank you.
All right, well, we're at time, so I want to make sure I'm sensitive to everybody's schedules today, but just wanted to thank Heidi and Michael for taking time out of their busy schedules to share their expertise and knowledge. So I think that was really great. So appreciate that. I want to thank those that attended. Hopefully you found it useful. I will be posting this recording on the community. I'm first going to be posting it in our super user group for about a week, and then I will make it available in the admin group. So if you are, I know for Rebecca and Rhonda, I believe you're both champions, but you're on community. I don't know if you're members of the admin group yet. If not, I would highly recommend you request to join, and then I can let you in. And this recording will be listed there and probably 1 week from today for you to go back and watch. And I'll have a short little kind of just write up on high points that were mentioned when I post it. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. And I'll turn off the recording.